So here's the deal. I'm going to invite you to get yourselves comfortable right now and to open up your Grace Church app, or to go to the page on our website where we have our live stream for worship, because those are the places where you're going to have access to the agenda and the links that you will need to participate in our parish meeting today. In the Grace Church app, at the bottom, on the very first page, in the little gray bar at the bottom, there is an icon that's a check mark, and it says All Meeting. And if you click on that, it will open up our agenda, and there are live links in there that you're going to need to participate in the election for vestry members and council delegates. If you're online and you're looking at us on a computer and you're watching through our website, then right there on that page where you're streaming, there's that same PDF link, and it has those things available to you as well, though you're going to need your phone to vote online, all right? So I am going to turn things over to Mr. Mike Murray, Esquire, who is the clerk of our vestry, and he's going to call the meeting to order and oversee our vestry elections. I'm going to clear off my mess here, Mike, so you've got some room. All right, there we go. Mr. Murray?
Good morning. As the clerk of the vestry of Grace Church, it's my honor to call this meeting, this annual meeting of Grace Church, to order. The first order of business is our vestry election. The vestry of Grace Church has nominated 3 candidates to join the vestry on 3-year terms. Those people are Melanie Geist, Davis Phillips, and Terry Snow. To vote, go to the website and the Vestry Election and cast your vote. The link for the vote is on the screen. We're at 34 votes. We'll leave the voting open for 2 more minutes. We have 57 votes for each candidate on the slate. Each has been elected to the vestry for a 3-year term. The next order of business is our election for council delegates to the Diocesan Council, which will take place in February. The vestry has nominated 3 delegates and 1 alternate for this year's Diocesan Council. The delegate nominees are Carrie Phillips, Mike Monroe, and Bill Cruz, and the alternate nominee is Jamie George. Again, to vote for this election, please go to the website and cast your vote. So we have approximately 31 responses. We'll leave the voting open for another couple minutes. I've been asked to share with everyone that you've been asked to provide your name and your email address in casting these votes so that we can be sure that those who are voting are voting members of Grace Church. When we usually cast these votes at our annual meeting, everyone is here and we can confirm that visually, but it's difficult from a distance to do that. So thank you for your patience in giving your name and your email address. It may be a little tedious, but it's very, very helpful. So thank you very much. About 1 more minute, and then we'll close the voting. Okay, we have approximately 40 votes cast, so it appears that the membership of Grace Church has approved the nominations of Carrie Phillips, Mike Monroe, and Bill Cruz to serve as delegates at Diocesan Council this year, and for Jamie George to serve as alternate. That should conclude the voting, so thank you very much, and we hope to see you all in person sometime soon.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Murray, the clerk of the vestry. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike, as our clerk, is responsible for keeping our meeting minutes and also filling out some diocesan forms and making sure that we do everything by the book. He minds our P's and Q's for us, and he's been the clerk of the vestry for a number of years, and will continue to do so next year, I hope, right? Yeah, sweet, and we're glad to have him. I'm going to turn things over now to our illustrious senior warden, Miss Sherene Dorazio.
All right, good morning, Grace Church. I am very pleased to be going over our budget with you, and just in case you all don't know exactly what the vestry does, our main charge is to care for the finances and assets of Grace Church, and also to care for the building and grounds. So with that said, if you're looking at the app, you can see we have for 2021 46 pledges and a total pledged of $263,709, which is great given all the COVID and what we've had to deal with this remote business. So we've got a decreased amount of $88,000 and a total of 25% from what we were working with last year. We do have 2 new pledges, which is great. Welcome to the pledge community of Grace Church. And 17 of you have increased your pledge giving from last year. We've had 15 stay the same and 12 decrease. And understand, COVID has changed a lot of things for this community. We did lose 19 pledges, which we have hope. We have hope that the giving will continue over the year. So the next set of data to look at for our budget is what we are budgeting. So we've taken this $250,000 of our pledged money, and we do that because of historical data. So we've got 263 pledged, but we usually just use a percentage of that to actually execute the budget. We're anticipating getting a PPP loan, so we've got $30,000 that we've put in the budget for that. If we don't get the loan, we will relook at the budget. We've also put $60,000 from our cash reserves into the budget this year, because even though the pledged income isn't where we need it to be to operate the church, we are going to use our savings to make sure we execute this year successfully. Down to the expense side, the first line, clergy, $159,000. I promise you, Father Jay does not make $159,000. He makes far less than that. There's many other line items that make up that number, as in all of these. Some of the big numbers, staff, our great support staff, that's an expense. The administration, that's a big number, and that's really our TMI space, insurance, and things like that. Another big line item is our outreach, and here we are, the body of Christ, doing our mission, feeding our neighbor. The big expense in that is snack pack for kids, so that's great work that we do in our community. The rest of these line items are small, mainly our mission, our worship ministries, and not worship ministries, just our different ministries. So that's pretty much a summary of our budget. If you have any questions, of course, our incoming treasurer, Davis Phillips, you can reach out to him, and you can always reach out to me or any of the other vestry members for any concerns. So thank you. And I'm turning it now over to Diana. She is going to be talking about sabbatical.
All right, so Diana and I are going to tag team this a little bit. First of all, I want to say thank you to Diana and to all the Sabbatical Committee for their work. As you may or may not realize, we were supposed to be on sabbatical last year, and yeah, COVID, right? So there we go. But we talk a lot about God redeeming things and God bringing new life into things, and this is a perfect example for us, because last year we applied for the Lilly grant and did not receive it. Exactly. And we did not receive it because my part of the application was pretty bad. And so this gave us a chance to reapply. And we did, and we
Yes.
improved our application.
You did an awesome job.
And you did an awesome job.
Did an awesome job.
And we got it.
Yay!
We received the Lilly grant, a $50,000 grant
Exactly.
for us to go
Woohoo!
on sabbatical.
Amen.
And so we are super excited about that. And the gist of our idea of sabbatical is not just that I'm going on sabbatical.
That's right.
And it's not just that my family's going on sabbatical.
That's right.
But that Grace Church.
Grace Church is going on sabbatical.
Yeah, we are. We're all going on. That does not mean you get the summer off from worship. That's not what that means. So don't be getting all. Look, come on. We've had plenty of time off from worship over the last 18 months. So here's what this means. So I'm going to talk about the George family side of the sabbatical, and then Diana is going to talk about the Grace Church side of the sabbatical. So basically what this looks like for us is we've divided the sabbatical into 3 sections, and for our part, we are going on pilgrimage, and that's kind of the theme of the sabbatical. So we have a mountain pilgrimage, a St. Francis pilgrimage, and a beach pilgrimage. So I'm going to begin by going on the mountain pilgrimage. I'm going to take about 4 weeks, and I'm going to go to Colorado, and I'm going to spend a lot of time by myself in a cabin in the mountains where I am going to read and hike and write and have nobody talk to me. Yes.
What?
It's going to be awesome. Can't wait. And I'm probably going to spend a week or 10 days at St. Benedictine Monastery in the mountains in Colorado as well. So I'll get to do that, and that will be part of that. Then I'll come back from that because we have some family experiences going on in June. Our youngest child, our fabulous, wonderful Emily, is going to be turning 16. Driver's license time, watch out. And then my beautiful wife is going to be graduating from seminary. So we've got some big family celebrations in June. And then following those events, Jamie and I are going to Italy. That's right, Italy.
That's right.
The land of pasta and pizza and art and all that jazz. Notice we started with the food. But what we're going to do in Italy is we're going on a pilgrimage. Jamie and I are going to spend some time seeing the sights, and then we are going on a 30-day, 300-mile walking pilgrimage from Florence to Rome. And what's really cool about that is we're going to be walking a route that takes us along the life of St. Francis. So all of these important towns and places where things happened in his life and where he did things, Assisi and Gubbierno and different places, we're going to stop there and go through those places and see where all these things happened in the life of St. Francis. And we're going to be walking that together. It's going to be really amazing, and we're super excited about it. And then the kids are going to come over and join us for about a week or more, maybe 10 days, and we're going to spend some time in Rome going to churches. I hope that's really what I want to do, is go see churches, but you kind of figured that, right? So probably some gelato will be involved, would be my guess. And we're going to do that, and then we're all going to come back, and I'm going to go and spend some time at the beach listening to the waves and listening to God's voice, and the family will come and join me for some of that as well. And then we'll wrap that up at the end of August, and we'll be back. So
Exactly.
So those are the 3 pieces of the pilgrimage for our family and for me. And so I'm going to throw it over to Diana so that she can share with you the Grace pilgrimage idea.
That's right. So instead of sabbatical, we'll be on our own pilgrimage. And what that pilgrimage looks like is, if you follow along in the app, our first part of this is the Discovery Pilgrimage, where we are actually going to, there's a 3-part series of a survey that we're going to each of us participate in. And as you can see, the part 1 is the church. You know, what's the DNA of the church? That's where we get to kind of define what we are as Grace Church. What are we made of? And that will take place in May 2nd through May 8th, and then we will reveal those surveys at the end of May. And then part 2 is more on an individual level, where we will each be going through our own kind of spiritual journey and thinking, you know, individually what our spiritual soul looks like and how that feels for us and what that is about. So, and that's going to happen in June 6th through the 12th, with the results again at the end of June for that. And then the last part is church engagement. How do we engage in grace? What does that look like for us? And that will be in July 11th through the 17th, with the results a couple weeks later on the 25th. So, and that will help us also kind of our growth as Grace Church, to kind of be able to figure out what that looks like, and maybe where do we go from here when, Jay comes back, and where do we want to go as Grace Church. And this is, like we've always said, is a great opportunity for us as Grace to be able to define ourselves and what we want the church to look like, as opposed to, no offense, Jay, Jay wants the church to look like. I mean, he's still part of it and has a piece of it too, but now we really get to take ownership of Grace Church.
Yes.
And that's kind of what this survey will help us do, is to get those answers.
It's huge, because typically what happens when a priest comes into a congregation is the congregation has done work to figure out and to be able to name, this is who we are, and this is what we do, how we live out our mission, and this is where we're going. And then the congregation invites the priest, hey, do you want to come and be a part of what we're doing? But we've never really had a chance to do that, because you've been stuck with me the whole time. So this becomes an opportunity for Grace Church to say, hey, no, this is who we are. This is who we think we are. And this is who I think I am. These are my strengths and weaknesses spiritually. And this is how I connect and engage in the life of the church. And so this will give us some data to look forward for the next 5 or 10 years and say, this is who we want to be. I think it's terrifically exciting. I mean, I love this kind of stuff. So if you have taken a daggum quiz on Facebook in the last 6 months, then you should be down for this. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. And from what we've been told, it's not going to take much time, but it is well worth the time for us to be able to define what grace looks like, and will be in the future too for us. So the second pilgrimage we're going to be going on, which is a piece of all of this, is a celebration pilgrimage. So there will be a celebration when the George family goes off, so April 25th, and then during that time we're, celebration of grace, and we're still kind of working out the details of that, but I know that there will be some fellowship piece of it, and also we will do, the activity event is more of kind of like a milestone kind of memory of what Grace Church has been, and just to be able to kind of visually be able to define that. And so we're trying to figure out exactly how we're going to do that. So, and each of you will get to have a piece in that. So that's what we're working on as the committee, to kind of finalize what we want that to look like. And then, as you see, on August 29th, we'll have the Welcome Back celebration. So that's when the George family's back, and we get to have a celebration and kind of celebrate not just them returning, but kind of Grace being able to go through this pilgrimage that we have gone through, to be able to define ourselves and our growth and what we're doing. So it's really more than a welcome back celebration in that. I think it's kind of like just a whole, see, my brain's going. So it's just, I think it will just be really an awesome type of celebration for all of us to come back together and to see this growth, not only in them, but in Grace Church as a whole.
We'll be able to share some stories and hear what's going on. And I'll tell you this right now, Grace Church, I have put this out to the vestry, and I've given this to the Sabbatical Committee, but now I'm giving it to you. My expectation is that upon my return, there will be people at Grace Church who I do not know. I expect there to be new people at Grace Church. I'm not even going to waffle or be nice or friendly, I'm just telling you right now, there better be some new people here or y'all be in trouble. I'm just saying. All of y'all, I'm looking at you right now. Through the internet. Yeah, I don't know.
You've heard it. He said it.
New
so
10, at least
that's
10.
right. That's right. So we all need to work on that, right? Yeah. And as we grow, we will be working on that. So,
there it is.
Okay.
I threw you off. I got all excited.
I know, exactly. I'm just like, okay, that's good. That's our challenge. That's our challenge for our pilgrimage, right?
The mask gauntlet.
There you go. Slam it down.
Boom.
There you go. Okay. So our third piece of our pilgrimage is renewal pilgrimage. And as you see, there's going to be some retreats. And a challenge, I guess another challenge is we want everybody to participate in at least one of these events. Yeah. Okay? And you can participate in all of them. That would be even more fantastic, but at least one of them. So there's going to be some day retreats July 17th and then August 7th. And then there's some family retreats. And the family retreats are going to go through Mustang Island, going there and kind of what the diocese has on those camps.
The family camps at Mustang Island. Yeah.
And as you can see, and this was as of January 12th, Bill Cruz has been working on that. July 22nd through the 25th, as you can see, there were still, as of last week, 14 slots available. Might be a little less now. And then July 29th through August 1st, there's 9 slots available. So.
And so in your app, in the PDF and online in the PDF, those links are live and they will take you to register for family camp. So what we want you to do is call up one of your buddies here at Grace Church, connect with one of the families that you hang out with and say, hey, do you guys want to go do this? Let's pick one of these weeks. The idea is we can't reserve family camp for Grace Church. That's not the way family camp operates. But we can encourage all of us to go to specific sessions so that there will be a lot of Grace Church people there. And that's kind of what we're working on, is saying, hey, we want, let's get the Mamoris and the Murrays and the Herons and let's all go together. And let's get Monroe and Stoops and Rodriguez and we'll go to this one. And, and that way we'll all get to be together. And there'll be some other people there too. You get to make some new friends, hang out on the beach. It's fantastic. If you've been to family camp, you know. If you haven't, it's just, oh man, it's super great. Awesome. So I encourage you for those, and if those fill up, we'll share some other sessions if we need to.
Exactly. So, and like you said, that's the point, kind of get your buddy system, and so that way you're not going, I mean, if you guys want to go, that's fine, without knowing if anybody else is going to be there and meet lots of new people. But if you want to just hang out with some Grace families, like you said, just hook up and say, hey, let's choose a weekend, and let's register, and let's go. And then, as you see, there's a weekend retreat at Camp Capers, August 20th through the 21st. So it's like a Friday, Saturday thing that we have going on. So again, the point of all this is to at least attend one event. And like I said, if you want to attend all of them, that's awesome, or at least maybe a couple of them. We just want you guys involved in that. And that's our spiritual growth, too. That's just something for us to do that's good for us to learn more about ourselves and our community and what our spirituality looks like and where we're going from here.
Absolutely. And we'll organize these, the way that we'll set these up is there will be some things that are adults only and some things that are family focused and then some things that will be family available so that there will be different types and ways for people to participate because we want to offer something that fits with everybody.
Exactly.
And that's why we're encouraging everybody to attend at least one of the renewal pilgrimage events.
Right. And now I'm sure you guys are wondering, well, how am I going to know what's going on? We haven't really done a lot of sabbatical information. Well, as you can see, communication is key to everything. So we're going to, Mike Monroe and Aubrey are communication chair people on our committee, and we'll be doing newsletters, we'll be doing texts, we'll be doing Grace Weekly. I mean, you will know what's going on with, during this whole time, and when we're doing all of these things, we will definitely keep everybody informed. At least that's what the intention is. So that way you don't are like, what's going on? There will still be lots of communication. In fact, we probably have to communicate more because we have to make sure we're staying all together. And then as you see, supply priests. So yes, we will have priests that will be here to do worship for us while Jay is out. So, and we're working on that. That hasn't totally been finalized yet, but there's a couple of different things going on. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, we've got some stuff in the works. It's looking good.
Exactly. And as you can see, the committee members, I want to take a shout out to the committee members because we've been working behind the scenes. So thank you to Bill Cruz and Aubrey Tolentino and Mike Monroe and April and Kristen Gutchess and Carrie Phillips and Francis Johnson. And you can talk to any of them if you need any more information. And of course, there's my email address and my phone number. So please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns. And I mean, this is a huge event for Grace, and I know I am. Not that we want you to go, but I am excited. I'm just excited for what the future holds for Jay and Jamie and the family, and for where we're going to go from here for Grace Church. So.
Absolutely. And I want to thank Diana, who signed up to lead this for a year and is now in the 18th month of her one-year term. And so I want to thank her for all her hard work.
Which is a huge thank you. Which is a huge ordeal. Normally I run. So thank you very much for just this journey and this pilgrimage that we're all going to go on together. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And I want to make sure that you guys know as well that in the sabbatical time, we'll not only have supply clergy available for leading worship on Sunday mornings, but we'll have some priests available as for pastoral emergencies as those might arise. And we will have all the stuff that I normally do will be covered by other people. And we began working on that a long time ago, and we will flesh that out. And really, we had it all in position, and now we've just got to update it for 2021. So I want you to know that we're not taking a break. We're not shutting down. We're not doing less. We're going to do this with me and Jamie and our kids being out of the scenario for a while. And so it's going to be incumbent upon Grace to step up and fill those gaps that are left and to lead going forward. And I have no doubt that our vestry and our Sunday team leaders and our committee team leaders are going to be able to do that and do it well. So let's move on with our parish meeting to my conversation about the state of the parish. And this is going to be fairly short, which may surprise you. But I just want to say that 2020 obviously was a complete and total nightmare of a year for us at Grace Church, for the world in general, for America. The COVID thing hit everybody hard, and it has been difficult for us to continue to move forward with our mission and ministry, but we have done so. We have adapted and changed how we go about our mission and ministry. We have not abandoned our mission and ministry. This morning is a perfect example. Whoever thought that we would be doing an annual meeting online? It was not something that we had ever considered before. And all of this change has required a whole lot of people to step up and do a whole lot of extra and different work. In particular, I think about Nancy Stinson and Mike Monroe and Jamie George and Andy and Lisa and Andrew coming together in the new building Sunday after Sunday after Sunday when we were completely and totally online for months at a time last spring and last summer, that we would continue to have some sort of worship here at Grace Church. I cannot tell you the amount of effort and work that Nancy has put into helping me figure out the AV piece of this, because you may not realize this, but nobody majored in audiovisual in seminary. So this has all been new for us, and we've been figuring it out. And I want to thank you for your patience in this, because you may see stuff online that looks really brilliant and perfect and spectacular. And I want you to know that the people who do that have been doing it for a long time. And they've got professionals helping them figure that out. And we've just been doing it. And I think we've got it down pretty well, Nancy. I think we got some stuff figured out, you know. We took a giant leap forward with Lance as our sound person, who helped us figure out how to improve our audio piece on this. And that's the kind of thing that has just been part of our story for 2020 is we don't know what we're doing. We want to do this. We want to be able to do this. How do we get there? I don't know. Let's figure it out. You try this. I'll try that. That didn't work. Let's do this other thing. And now our audio stuff is at a whole different level because Lance stepped up and figured some stuff out and was like, hey, let's try this. So that has been the story of 2020. We have been muddling along and figuring it out as we go, and we have been. It's not perfect. It's not sometimes even pretty. But we have continued to carry out our mission of connecting people to Christ, self, and others. As Sherene mentioned, we have continued with our service through Snack Pack and through taking it to the streets. The Nelson family was up at the new building just this week putting together Snack Pack bags because we needed to deliver 30 more bags to folks in need. That is an ever-changing target as we engage with Monroe May and with what's going on with the school districts. Taking it to the streets has changed as we've been figuring out how can we continue to care for our brothers and sisters. And we are figuring it out. So I want to encourage you to continue to engage in the life of your congregation, to continue to share in the life of Grace Church, whatever that looks like for you. Worship is a great example. We've been online only, we've been in person only, and we've done hybrid worship where we are both online and in person. We've done morning prayer for the first time in the history of Grace Church. Morning prayer has become part of what we do. We've adopted the idea of spiritual communion, which I didn't even know existed before COVID. We have been adapting and we've been flexible and we've been working it out. And I want to invite you to continue to engage, particularly in worship, as we go forward from 2020 into 2021. Worship is not just a duty that Christians have to carry out. Worship is an opportunity for us to share in the life and to enter into the kingdom of our God. You want to, everybody online talks about how cool it is to be countercultural and to not follow the norm and to step out and be different. Well, you want to be different? Go to worship. Make worship a priority in your life. That is different from what the world says is important. And when we live into our worship, there not only do we experience God, but we're fed by God so we can carry God out into the world. And that's what I want to talk about for 2021. I am declaring 2021 as the year of Steve Austin. And if you don't know who Steve Austin is, then you can Google it because you're too young to remember the $6 million man. You know what I'm, right? I mean, come on. Hey, how about, let's go here. How about the $6 million woman? Who was the $6 million woman? Lindsay Wagner, Absolutamente. There you go, right? Man, they did movies together. You remember who had a Steve Austin action figure when they were growing up? Right here. Yeah, come on. Yes, the bionic eye. You could take the piece off on his forearm and see the wires. So cool. Now, the reason I'm declaring 2021 is the year of Steve Austin is because at the intro to the show, they say, we can build him better, faster, stronger. And that's what we're going to do in 2021. We're going to build Grace Church better, faster, and stronger. We are not going to sit back and wallow. We are not going to whine and cry and feel sorry for ourselves. We are going to scrap and claw and fight and struggle and jump our way forward into who God is calling us to be. The sabbatical that is going to happen is going to be one of the most important events in the history of Grace Church. It's going to do two things. It's going to require Grace Church to step up and lead in my absence. And it is going to force me to step back and let Grace Church lead in my absence. It is way too easy for you and for me to rely on me for the answers to questions. And it's simply not healthy for us as we go forward. In fact, it's limiting as we go forward. I think we have gone as far as we're going to go with the leadership style and the practices and the strategies that we've implemented so far. I think we've maxed them out. We have to change in order to move forward in God's calling of who God is calling us to be. And that's what we're going to do this year. We are going to worship together, and we are going to grow together, and we're going to serve together just like we have been, but we're going to have this added emphasis on the sabbatical, this pilgrimage idea, and on discipleship. We've already begun to work on some new ways of discipleship, and we're going to continue to do that and to expand those opportunities and to continue to encourage and enable and call each and every one of us as followers of Jesus, not simply to be Sunday morning Christians, but to follow Jesus as his disciples and to figure out what that looks like in our lives. So there will be opportunities for us to grow in our faith. Part of that's going to be the sabbatical, the reveal survey, the fellowship and celebration events, the renewal pilgrimage piece. And part of that's going to come next fall as we figure out how we move forward from here. Because that's really what we're doing. Right now we're preparing for the sabbatical, then we're going to have the sabbatical pilgrimage, and then after that we're going to take that experience and say, okay, how does this propel us forward? How do we continue to get better at being who God has created us to be? And that's going to be an exciting time. I cannot tell you how grateful I am to get to share in the ministry and mission of God's kingdom with you fine people. Jamie and I talk about this often. We are so blessed to be a part of this church family. We are so blessed by you, by who you are in your hearts, your joy and your families. I mean, it is just an absolute grace in our lives. And I hope that Grace Church is a grace in your life as well. Sherene, Bill, Diane, is there anything that you guys are thinking of that I need to throw out here? Nancy, is there anything? Andy, nothing? So that's what I've got, you guys. We've been here for a while, so I don't want to keep you much longer. I just want to encourage you in your faith. Don't give up now. Don't let go. Don't let the cares and the concerns of this world distract you and pull you away. I know that online is different. I get it. I know that you're sick of Zoom meetings. I sure as heck am. But we are going to continue to find our way forward so that we can live into the calling God has for us, because his kingdom is here. His will is being done in you and in me and in Grace Church. Let's continue as we go forward and embrace the year of Steve Austin. Amen. All right, that's it. That's all we've got. Thanks for being here. Really glad you joined us. I have no idea how many people are still watching this. I hope that it's more than 3 and that they're not all in my family. So you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and go Chiefs.